We have as our special guest this evening on the Drury Sport page none other than Joe Louis, the world's heavyweight boxing champion just out of retirement. We're going to turn the microphone over to Joe Louis now and have him tell us just why, other than that Uncle Sam reason, he has decided to climb through the rope once again. Joe?
Well, really no reason but boxing again that I think that I should pay all my back tax, because especially at this time, the war's on and the government is asking for more tax, and I think it's a good chance to take care of it. Not only that, I also feel that I have a very good chance of winning the heavyweight championship back again, and which I would love to do, because I will be the heavyweight that ever did that. And second is that that when I first win the heavyweight championship, my first statement was that I will defend it. If I win it in the ring, I will lose it in the ring too. That also give me a chance to fulfill that too.
Well, Joe, isn't it true in boxing as well as other sports that once it's in your blood, it's really hard to get out?
Well, I think so, although I have never had no urge to come back into the ring. I could have stayed out forever, but due to the fact that I did come back, really no sign that it went in my blood.
Well, Joe, when are you going to start training for your first comeback fight?
Well, to tell the truth, I started as of Friday, but I haven't got to my camp as yet, because I'm in preliminary training. I come out here to see the pro at Kalamazoo golf club, Mr. Miller. I played with him last year, so I come out to see him again this year.
How'd you do on your round of golf this afternoon, Joe?
Well, I had a 75, which has been not too bad for me.
That's very good. Well, Joe, do you have any definite opponent lined up for your first fight?
Well, it would have to be Elsa Charles, who are considered by the NBA as the heavyweight champion of the world.
Well, how does Charles feel about that, Joe? Do you think he'd like to lay that title on the line against a proven champ?
Well, I think Elsa Charles right now is very interested in making some money. And I say probably my bout with him would probably be the only fight that he can see in sight that would draw some money.
Well, Joe, I talked to Tony Zale, the former middleweight, a month or so ago down in Richmond, Indiana, and Tony predicted, along with thousands of other boxing personalities, that you would decide to fight again, and the Gary Ironman also predicted that you would fight Charles and beat Charles. What do you think of that prediction, Joe?
Well, I want to say that I thank Tony Zale for having that much confidence in me. I think that it will be a tough fight. I know it will be, because Elsa Charles is much younger. I wouldn't say not too much younger as a fighter, but I will be in the very best of condition, and I'll say that I think I got an even chance.
Well, Joe, just what have you been doing to keep yourself in shape, or getting yourself in shape for this coming comeback fight?
I've been doing a lot of exhibition work. You know, all this winter I've been doing a lot of exhibition work, and I've been playing a lot of golf all summer.
Well, Joe, now I'm going to ask you a few questions that you've probably answered 1,000,000 times. First off, of the 25 title fights that you've had, which one, or say which two, how would you rate them? Which would be your toughest opponent?
Well, I think that the Billy Khan's first fight in 1941 was my toughest championship fight, and also my second toughest championship fight, I think, was Walcott and the first Walcott fight.
Well, Joe, only 3 opponents were able to stay the full 15 rounds with you. Would you tell our listeners just a little bit about those 3 fights? We know that Arturo Godoy was quite a croucher, and the Jersey Joe Walcott was quite a bicycle rider, but how about Tommy Farr?
Well, Tommy Farr had a peculiar style, too, somewhat on the same style as Arturo Godoy, but not quite as low, but he takes a very good punch, and I say that he got just as much heart in it by the box.
Well, Joe Louis, how many former heavyweight champs did you beat during your long 12-year boxing career?
I think that before I become champion, I think I beat about 4 or 5. I don't know exactly.
And are you pretty well set on this comeback? Do you feel that it's the right move and so on, Joe?
I think so. I think I got a very good chance of beating Charles. I think that I'm not too far off my fighting weight, and which in about a good 2 months I'll be in tip-top condition.
Well, Joe, here's a question I've often wondered about. Did Max Smelling ever get out of the hospital after that second fight with you? Well,
Mike's in him, but that's a week or so. But I think Max Smelling, one of the smartest fighters that I probably ever boxed. He in the way of counterpunching. I think he's the best counterpuncher I boxed.
Well, before we close this interview, Joe, I want to ask you sort of a personal question. How is the golf pro here at the Millen Park course, Bob Miller? Is he a pretty good golfer?
Bob plays a very nice game. You should have seen him that day. He chipped in two approach shots from about 30 or 40 feet, and yards, I should say, and ball come right and hit around him. He had a day about a 72, 73.
Well, Joe, what about that shot out there you had there? I think it was on number 17 where you bounced one off the pin. How about that? Did you call that pretty tough luck?
Yeah, it was. It was a tough luck, but I was very glad to get that 3 anyway for birdie.
Well, thanks a lot, Joe Lewis, for this interview, and good luck to you in the future.
Thank you very much.
Well,